Nothing flies by faster than the holidays. Actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast, featuring extraordinary offers on our most popular models.
Lease the 2019 UX 250 Hybrid for $319 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. Experience amazing at your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer. Call 1-800-USA-LEXUS for important lease offer and pricing details. Not all customers will qualify. Offer valid in the Lexus Eastern area only and ends December 2nd, 2019.
Welcome to Dare a New Belief, a place to discover what is possible for your life after the loss of a loved one, and where you will find inspiration, insight, support, and love, and hopefully a bit of laughter to help you through your day. Now, here's your host, Nada Hogan.
Welcome to Dare a New Belief, where you will find light and life, love and joy, healing, faith, and hope. A place where you get to believe in what is possible for your life. And on today's show, I have the great honor to have Kim Sutton with me. And Kim is the producer, the founder, the CEO of Positive Productivity. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I am super happy to have you here. This is awesome. So, Kim, can you tell us, what is positive productivity?
That's such a great question because so many people think I talk about productivity all day long. But if you just take a step back, what I really want, especially entrepreneurs, to understand is that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. That is not my original quote. I don't know where I found it. But I've learned that I've tried to overextend myself numerous times in my business. And the key word is try. And that when I finally learned that I just can't do everything, that's when everything started to soar.
Awesome. Kim, you and I have spoken one time before because I was actually on your podcast, which is also named Positive Productivity. And it's a wonderful podcast. I loved being on your show. And one of the things that you had talked about is you had said that it's our life experiences that get us to where we are today. And this whole thing also about overextending ourselves, because everything that we do ties into everything that we do and what we are and who we want to be and how we want to show up in the world. But if you can tell us about a life experience, or many, it's up you get to run with that one, that got you to where you are today. Can you share something with us about that?
Sure. So in 2008, I was an interior architect, and I was also at night, because I worked full time at a day job with an hour commute each way. At night, I was building a business, my first business, and I was sleeping 1 to 2 hours a night regularly, and I was not taking care of myself. In January 2nd, 2008, I was admitted to the mental hospital because the sleep deprivation plus a variety of other self-care issues, I was suicidal. And I was out of work for 6 weeks, and we can all play the blame game all day long.
Yeah.
But what I realized was that I had no one to blame but myself. And in August 2008, as a result of both the economy and my work performance, I lost my job. And that's where the blame game comes in. For the longest time, I was really angry, that I hadn't gotten more help and this and that. But as my journey continued, the synchronistic, maybe that's not the right word, events started happening where I just kept on winding up where I knew I was supposed to be at each time. And I had never felt that before. So I went.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I have to. So I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize. Are you kidding?
I love this because it is, yes, that is the synchronicity when something happens and it completely derails us. And then all of a sudden, right, our life is in a completely different direction. And these synchronistic events that keep showing up. and kept showing to you that you were moving in the right direction. I totally love that. And I want you to share with us, if you're willing to, what some of those synchronicities were that showed up in your life that made you know you were on the right path.
Oh, I would love to. So the first event that happened was that I found a local networking group in my small town. Now, as I said, I worked an hour away from where we live, and we moved here from New York to Ohio for my job. So I knew nobody in my town except for people, other parents for my kids' sports, right? So I just happened to come across this networking group, and I'm at the first meeting, and there was a chiropractor there who was offering one free adjustment for any new patients. And I was so stressed out that my shoulders felt like they were up to my earlobe. So I went in, and I know the adjustment was amazing, but it was more than just a physical adjustment. It was a mental adjustment as well, because we got into a conversation, and that chiropractor is now one of my dearest friends 10 years later. But we were talking about movies, which led into him asking if I had ever heard of the law of attraction. And I hadn't. I had no spiritual beliefs at that time because I was just still in a dark place. And he told me a little bit about it. And I went home and I looked it up. And I realized in that very moment that I had the right to choose whether or not I was happy. And it had never occurred to me before that I had a right to choose. I just thought my life was how my life was. Deal with it.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Because I believe that that's how the majority of people live their life. They don't realize that they have the right to choose to look at life differently, think of life differently, show up in life completely differently. And what a blessing that that this chiropractor shared that with you. That's what a beautiful synchronistic event.
Yeah, and it only got better. Do you want to hear two more things that happened
Yeah.
immediately after that? So
Yeah.
this was early days of Facebook. Yes, I was on Facebook, but Facebook groups weren't there then. So I went into Yahoo groups for the law of attraction. People were talking about how they wanted to win the lottery. And I said what was exactly on my mind. I said, I don't care about winning the lottery. I just want to work with somebody who won. And I was still trying to build my own interior design practice. No joke. A month later, the same chiropractor calls me after he has lunch with a friend. And he says, Kim, I was just out to lunch with my financial planner, and he has been hired by the winners of the Mega Millions, a whole group of in Piqua, Ohio, a whole bunch of city workers had won the Mega Millions, like $200 million.
Wow.
And one of these families wants to do design in their home. Do you want to talk to them? How crazy is that?
I love that. Isn't that fantastic? Oh my goodness. I love that. Did you go and do it?
Well, I talked to them a few times, and long story short, we never ended up doing work together. I think that they may have actually moved because,
They have a lot of money.
lottery does crazy stuff to people, and it wasn't that it did crazy stuff to them. It's just the people who came out of the woodwork and wanted money. So I think they picked up and moved. But that's when I really got to see, oh my gosh, this is real. I can somehow or another, and I'm not trying to be too woo here, but I can guide things to happen. So a year after that, that was 2009, maybe a year and a half later, I had moved my then business down into my own office outside of my home. And I had a TV down there, and I was watching The Bucket List, which I had never seen before. Now, I think you already know this, but I'll share with the listeners. I was in a bad marriage. My now ex-husband and I get along better now than we ever did when we were dating or married. We were high school sweethearts who just shouldn't have gotten married.
Yeah.
But I was on my way out. I had already found an apartment, and I needed to get out for my emotional safety. And I was watching the movie, and I decided, you know what? I had never had a bucket list. You know what? I'm going to create a soulmate spec sheet. So it was something like 60 items long. I still have it. It's in my underwear drawer to show my grandkids someday. I created it, put it aside. 3 weeks later, the apartment is finalized. I'm on Craigslist looking for furniture, and I see this little button that says men looking for women. No joke. I went in there to laugh at men. I had no intention of ever being with anybody. First one I click on, I laugh at him. He's totally not what I'm looking for. Second one, I'm now married to.
How did that come about? Do you want to share? I did not know that is how you found your second husband. How did that happen? Did you have to contact him? Did he contact you? I didn't even know you could find a man on Craigslist. I didn't know you
Yes.
could do that.
Well, you can. And the common joke when I tell people is, and you're still alive, because there's this misnomer of the Craigslist killers, which
No.
is totally, it's not accurate. I even found my house on Craigslist. Well, it found me.
Wow.
But what happened was I sent him a message through Craigslist and I said, look, I'm going through a divorce, but if you're still single in 6 months, I would love if you would put your post back up. I'm just, now's not a good time. Well, he completely ignored that whole part and we ended up meeting 2 days later.
Did you know then that he had that? Did you have the spark for him and he had the spark for you, or was it one of those things where it took a little bit of time to know that he was going to be the one?
Oh, the spark was there from the very beginning. He is most definitely my soulmate. And get this,
Wow.
when he showed up, he drove the exact same car, same exact color as I did, just a 1 year different.
Oh, you're kidding.
And it's not like it's a white or blue or black car. It was this turquoise-ish color Chevy Cobalt.
Wow.
It's not like you just go when it's the most, common color on the lot. This was absurdity, if I can say so, in its best way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we dated for about a month and then we broke up for 3 months because I scared everything out of him. He had a whole bunch of just less than desirable women in his life, and then we got back together, and that was however many years ago that was, 8.5, 9, somewhere in there.
Okay.
He would probably be able to tell you. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then it just it's been going like that. And what I realize is that when I'm negative about something, it just goes downhill. And when I'm positive and I keep my eyes on hope, they're a new belief, right?
Right.
It just keeps on getting better.
Absolutely. And people think, and this is one of the things, because I love working with the law of attraction, and it's been called woo-woo for forever. But quantum physics is able to prove all of the stuff that people used to call woo-woo. And it's things that old ancient mystics were doing thousands of years ago. And when we know that our thoughts have an electromagnetic frequency and we literally send that out into the universe, this space between me and the computer or me and my wall that looks like it's empty space is not empty space at all. It's full of photons and molecules that they're just invisible to the naked eye. And we literally send a message out. So we are a transmitter and a receiver because we receive back exactly what it is that we're sending out in that same vibration. So when people say, like, oh my gosh, I'm down on my luck, everything horrible just keeps happening to me over and over and over. Well, mostly it's because they keep focusing on everything that's going wrong in their life, and they end up bringing more of that to them because that's the vibration that they are, the frequency that they're vibrating at. And then we see other people and it's like, my gosh, it's just like everything falls into place for you. You live the most dream life ever. It's like, because they stay in that higher frequency, and they expect it to happen. They're not waiting for the bad to happen. They're waiting for more good to happen because that's where they put their attention.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, I'm working on some changes in my business right now, and that involves letting go of some things that aren't working.
Yeah.
And just like you just said, I mean, you gotta be careful what you put out there. And I don't mean that maybe I should rephrase that. Be mindful of what you put out there,
Yeah.
because my thoughts traveled to someone that I'm planning on letting go, and they actually sent an email along it, but I had never said anything.
Oh.
It was the craziest thing.
Wow. So did this person then, did they send you the email telling you that they were going to resign from working with you? Or did they say, like, I'm getting a weird vibe from you?
They wanted to know what my plans were.
Oh my goodness, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that's a thing that's something too. I know this is a little segue, and I want to come back because I love the energy part of this so much. But that's hard. I mean, I think it's hard as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, when you have employees and you have to make those tough decisions that we have to let people go because for whatever reason that it happens to be. And is that something that you have already done, Kim, or is that something that's in the works, that letting go of this one person? And how are you approaching that? How are you preparing for that, or how did you prepare for that?
Well, it's upcoming. It hasn't been announced yet. And to be totally honest, I haven't acknowledged the question.
Yeah.
Um, and but the first step had to begin with me because
Right.
up until I got to be honest, until this year, I was falling short on the value I was giving myself, and my self confidence was not there.
Yeah.
So I was settling.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just this year, I'm realizing I don't need to settle. It's amazing, even looking back 10 years ago when I put out the soulmate spec sheet and attracted my soulmate. But in my own business, I haven't been able to do the same. And I just had a conversation with somebody and I realized I need to have not a soulmate spec sheet, but a spec sheet for my business that I can attract the same way as I did my husband.
Yes. Yes. There's a woman that I know who did the exact same thing, who she was saying she's a coach, and she was coaching another lady, and the lady, I believe that the woman was going to become an entrepreneur and was going into coaching herself. And she said that, what I really need to, as she was working with the experienced coach, and she was saying to the experienced coach that what I really need to have in my life is I need a personal assistant because I'm so overwhelmed. There's so many things to do, and I just find myself chasing my own tail and not being productive, getting anything done. And the experienced coach had asked her, so tell me, what does this personal assistant look like? And the coach was just kind of taken back, like, well, I don't even know. And it's like, right, it has to start with us. We have to be able to say what it is that we want. Otherwise, we're open to anybody popping in, and that's not the you'll have a personal assistant, but that's not the person that you want. They don't meet any of the criteria that you're looking for. And one of the things that the new coach had said was, once she started realizing, I have to lay it out. I mean, here she coaches people, but it's easy to not see ourselves in the picture when we're in the frame, right? So she had said one of the things, listed off all the things that she needed, how to do social media and, you know, filing papers, all of that stuff. But she said, oh, this will never happen. But I just would love if they could kind of be a nanny also, because I really need somebody to look after my 2-year-old. And she said, that's impossible. And the experience coach said, no, absolutely not impossible, because you are saying exactly what I said, however many years ago, 15 years ago, because I also wanted my personal assistant that could do all of this and nanny for me at the same time. And that was exactly what she brought into her life. And it was not by chance. That's not coincidence. We literally are sending that out, and that is what we're bringing back in. So, yeah, I love this.
I'm sitting here staring at a corner that I sort of face here in my office, and I realized I did create it. I just forgot that I created it. I have my affirmations, and I'm projecting it out 10 years. But that's something that we need to do, is give ourselves the time and talk to ourselves in the present tense. This is what I do. Like,
Yeah.
who are next level you? Like, who's next level Nada? Who's next level Kim? What does she look like? What does she do? I mean, I have silly things, and it's not silly. Okay, I had a typo in this line. I hope that doesn't affect my ability to manifest it. But I wrote, I drive a state of the art and paid off electric VW van. I meant
Ooh.
state of the art. But I saw the new van, or whatever they call it, that they're putting out in a couple years, and I told myself I will drive that. And I'm actually tagging them on social media once a month, once every couple of months, volunteering that if they need a family to be a brand ambassador and show how this thing stands up to 5 kids and 2 parents, count me in.
Wow.
And I'll keep on doing that until they release it. And
Wow.
I don't know if that's how I'll drive it, but I will drive it. I'm telling you right now, I will drive it.
Yes, absolutely. That's brilliant. That is brilliant how you are putting that out there and tagging them in social media. I love it. And when you are driving that van, would you please share that with us? Because I would love to share that story. That is fantastic.
Absolutely.
I love it. Here's the thing that's so fun too, Kim, because there's so many people that I call it, and I don't mean this isn't a judgment. I used to be one of those people, but meat and potatoes, where it's everything, it's just mundane. This day looks exactly like yesterday. It's kind of like that different day, same old crap stuff. And when you get to talk to somebody else who is on the same page of the law of attraction and how all of this works, it's just so exciting. So it's just like, I already see you in the van. So I want to know, what color is the van that you want to be, there you are driving? What color is that?
Oh, it's absolutely turquoise.
Oh,
it's going to be obnoxious looking on the street, but I'm going to love every second of it.
I love it. So turquoise, that is your signature color, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is.
I love it.
If I color it turquoise, then my older 2 boys won't ask to drive it, and that's the key.
So you want to know what's funny here? My husband's mother always bought super, like the muscle cars. She had, I can't remember what they were, but they were the kind of cars that the teenagers wanted to buy because she didn't want them to. I hope I'm telling the story correct. I'll find out if I'm doing it wrong. I'll be corrected. But she didn't want the kids to be spending all of their money on cars. So she thought, and it was a very tight-knit family, everybody was very close in age, 7 kids, that if she bought a car that was racy and fun, then the kids would all be together in that car and they wouldn't have to be spending their money on tires and insurance and gas and for all of these different cars, just put it all into one car. And I love this because I had the same feeling with myself, with my kids, that if I have a car that my kids never will want to drive, I never will have to be in that argument and it will always be my own vehicle.
Absolutely. I mean, I could get a bright pink vehicle and that would definitely keep the boys out, but no, pink's not my color.
Not your color. It might draw just a little too much odd attention, but turquoise, I think, is fabulous. I love it. So, Kim, we have already come up to our 30 minutes. So as I start to bring this in for a landing, and on the show notes, people will be able to connect with you. And actually, before I even get to that part, because there's so many more questions, I've been taking notes like crazy since we've been talking, and I want to continue this conversation. Would you be willing to come back and continue this conversation with me next week?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Perfect. So in the meantime of next week, how do people connect with you? How do they get to your podcast, to your website? What is the easiest way to reach you?
Everything is at thekimsutton.com. Remember to put that seems redundant, but put thekimsutton.com. And everything's right there.
Okay, perfect. And that will be in the show notes. So if you're driving or you don't have paper and pen close by to you, no problem, because I will all show up in the show notes. So Kim, I adore you. I love this conversation. I'm excited to have you back in a week and continue on because I want to go a little bit deeper with some of these experiences that you've had in your life. And I hope I'm not crossing any boundaries. And of course, you just let me know, but I look forward to talking to you again one more time. So thank you very much for being with me today.
Thank you.
Until next week, listeners, until next week, Kim, thank you very much for being here. Have a beautifully blessed week. Enjoy every beautiful blessing that shows up for you during the day. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for spending time with us today. please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.
Nothing flies by faster than the holidays. Actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast, featuring extraordinary offers on our most popular models.
Lease the 2019 UX250 Hybrid for $319 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. Experience amazing at your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer. Call 1-800-USA-LEXUS for important lease offer and pricing details. Not all customers will qualify. Offer valid in the Lexus Eastern area only and ends December 2nd, 2019.
Nothing flies by faster than the holidays. Actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast, featuring extraordinary offers on our most popular models.
Lease the 2019 UX250 Hybrid for $319 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. Experience amazing at your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer. Call 1-800-USA-LEXUS for important lease offer and pricing details. Not all customers will qualify. Offer valid in the Lexus Eastern area only and ends December 2nd, 2019.